So you see, if you take the right steps, you can keep ransomware from taking down our systems and costing us bucks. Remember, back up your data, keep your software up to date, and watch out for suspicious emails containing macros or unexpected attachments.
Hasina works for the marketing department in a major local bank, My Bank for High, and is busy preparing for their annual golf tournament. She has been promoting the tournament using social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he wants to steal sensitive account information of the bank's customers. He decides that the best way is by exploiting the mistakes made by the employees of My Bank for High, and to leverage readily available information from the internet regarding the bank. While researching about the bank, Mr. Brown comes across Hasina's postings on the golf tournament and references to her personal details as the point of contact for any queries regarding the tournament. Aha! Mr. Brown has what he needs. Mr. Brown crafts a spear phishing email targeted as the free lunch. Lee is the finance manager for a major telecommunication company in Malaysia. He is an avid online shopper and is constantly on the lookout for good deals. While shopping online, Lee normally checks out good deals from online advertisements. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he is trying to steal valuable information from unsuspecting victims. He decides that the best way is by exploiting human greed of wanting something for free. So he creates online scams that request confidential details that he can then harvest from. He comes across an advertisement for a buy one free one lunch offer at one of Kuala Lumpur's prominent five-star. Now, Lee quickly clicked on the advertisement. Upon clicking on the link, Lee was redirected to a webpage requesting for his credit card details to secure the deal. This was a fake advertisement placed by Mr. Brown. Social engineering. It's more than smiles. IU is the CEO of Big Oil Corp, a public listed oil company. IU has big plans to propel the company forward despite a very rough economy, with oil prices plummeting. IU works closely with Lawrence, the company's chief information security officer, in ensuring that all their company's sensitive information is kept safe and does not fall into the hands of their competitors or anyone with malicious intent. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he is trying to steal valuable information from Big Oil Corp. He decides that the best way is by exploiting the mistakes made by the employees of Big Oil Corp. Early one morning, Mr. Brown makes his way to the lobby of Big Oil Corp and waits for a target employee that he intends to trick into letting him into the company premise. Mr. Brown notices Yako, an employee of Big Oil Corp, who seems to be in a rush and quickly approaches Yako with a big smile.
Yako. I left my badge at home, and I'm already late for a meeting with the board. Do you think you can let me in, Yako?
Okay, sure. Just follow me. Oh, I need to run off for my meeting as well. See you later.
Alright, thanks, Yako.
Once Jacob was out of sight, Mr. Brown takes a walk around the workspace and notices many information security flaws. Unlocked laptops, password written down on paper, access cards, company confidential data, meeting minutes, and printouts lying around. Mr. Brown then goes to a meeting room and sees the sales target and business plan for Big Oil Corp on the whiteboard.
Aha, I can sell this information.
Security Elevate. To watch the full video, please contact us at www.securityelevate.com. Thanks for watching.
fine. What did you do wrong? Or should I say, what didn't you do?
I don't know. Put the wrong password.
Correct! Yeah, that was a phishing email you almost fell for. What? A phishing email. You know, an email sent by thieves to try to trick people out of their personal information by disguising themselves as someone trustworthy.
Oh, I almost fell for that.
I know.
Well, what should I have done?
Sandwich board!
Sandwich board.
Here, put this on. No, you don't. Phishing email. Hey, not so hard. Phishing emails are thieves trying to gain access to your username, passwords, credit cards, etc. Be on the lookout for phishing keywords such as update account, validate, verify, click here, etc. Yeah, phishing great. Yes. Phishing emails like these always have a sense of urgency and aggression, and generally include a link to a fake webpage that mimics a website that you may think you on. Fishy site.
How do I know that?
It can be tricky. Hover over the link and look at the lower left-hand corner of your web browser to see the URL. It should accurately reflect the link address you think you're going to go to.
How do I know this URL is legitimate?
It shouldn't begin with an IP address like 175.152.28, and it should end with legitimate company like fail.image.edu, not image.edu.preamble.net. If the site has additional pages, the URL will come after the .com, .edu, .org, etc., and it will contain forward slash, something like image.edu/esave.
Alright, not a legitimate URL. Should I do?
Mark it as spam and delete it. But if you're at a site you verified as legitimate, just make sure before you enter any personal information that the URL says HTTPS at the beginning, not just HTTP. Yeah, the S is for security. Here's another tip. If you type in your password and it's not hidden, it's most likely a phishing attempt trying to get your personal information.
So if I type my password and it isn't hidden, then it for sure is not legitimate.
Ding, 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 ding! You got a winner! Pretty much. But just because the password's hidden doesn't mean it's always legit. You always have to check the URL to be safe. When in doubt, get help to verify the email is actually legitimate.
Good to know.
And hey, just remember, think before you click post the site. Ransomware is a scary new kind of malware that can lock down your our entire network until you pay a ransom. Once it's on your system, it's trouble. But take a look at how our hero handles a potential ransomware attack.
I don't know who you are, but don't put you on with my files. If you're looking for ransom, you won't get it. That's because I have a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired to shut down ransomware crooks like you. Not only do I back up my files regularly, I also keep a recent backup off-site. You'll never find it. And I'm safe in case of fire, flood, or theft. Your attempt to fool me into enabling macros will never work either. That's because I've installed Microsoft Office viewers, which let me see Word or Excel documents without macros. Oh, and you think you can trick me to opening your ransomware by hiding this mail attachment? Yes, again, I never put Twitter up to date, so I'm ready to take on jokers like you. No, you won't be getting anything from me today. I promise you that.
So you see, if you take the right steps, keep ransomware from taking down our systems, keep your software up to date, and watch out for suspicious emails.
Something smells fishy. Aslina works for the marketing department in a major local bank. My bank is busy preparing for their annual golf tournament. She has been promoting the tournament using social. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he wants to steal sensitive account information of the bank's customers. He decides that the best way is by exploiting the mistakes made by the employees of my bank behind, and to leverage readily available information from the internet regarding the bank. While researching about the bank, Mr. Brown comes across Asina's postings on the golf tournament and references to her personal details as the point of contact for any queries regarding the tournament. Aha! Mr. Brown has what he needs. Mr. Brown crafts a spear phishing email targeted as the free lunch. He is the finance manager for a major telecommunication company in Malaysia. He is an avid online shopper and is constantly on the lookout for good deals. While shopping online, he normally checks out good deals from online advertisements. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he is trying to steal valuable information from unsuspected tenants. He decides that the best way is by exploiting human greed of wanting something for free. So he creates online scams that request users for confidential details that can then harvest for financial comes across an advertisement for a buy one free one lunch offer at one of Kuala Lumpur's prominent 5-star hotel. He quickly was redirected to a webpage requesting for his credit card details to secure the deal. This was a fake advertisement placed by Mr. Brown. Social engineering. It's more than smiles. IU is the CEO of Big Oil Corp, a public listed oil company. IU has made plans to propel the company forward despite a very rough economy, with oil prices plummeting. IU works closely with Lawrence, the company's chief information security officer, in ensuring that all their company's sensitive information is kept safe and does not fall into the hands of their competitors or anyone with malicious intent. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he is trying to steal valuable information from Big Oil Corp. He decides that the best way is by exploiting the mistakes made by the employees of Big Oil Corp. Early one morning, Mr. Brown makes his way to the lobby of Big Oil Corp and waits for a target employee that he intends to trick into letting him into the company premise. Mr. Brown notices Yakub, an employee of Big Oil Corp, who seems to be in a rush and quickly approaches Yakub with a big smile.
Yakub. I left my badge at home and I'm already late for a meeting with the board. You can let me in, Yakub.
Okay, sure. Just follow me. Oh, I need to run off for my meeting as well. See you later.
Alright, thanks, Yakub.
Once Yakub was out of sight, Mr. Brown takes a walk around the workspace and notices many information security flaws. Unlocked laptops, password written down on paper, access cards, company confidential data, meeting minutes, and printouts lying around. Mr. Brown then goes to a meeting room and sees the sales target and business plan for Big Oil Corp on the whiteboard.
Aha! I can sell this information.
To watch the full video, please contact us at www.securityelevate.com. Thanks for watching.
Whoa, stop it here. Rewind. What did you do wrong? Or should I say, what didn't you do?
The wrong password.
Correct. Yeah, that was a phishing email you almost fell for. What? A phishing email. You know, an email sent by thieves who try to trick people out of their personal information by disguising themselves as someone trustworthy.
Oh, I almost felt that.
I know.
Well, what should I have done?
Sandwich board. Sandwich board. Sandwich board. Here, put this on. No, you don't. Phishing emails. Hey, not so hard. Phishing emails are thieves trying to gain access to your username, password, credit cards, etc. Be on the lookout for phishing keywords such as update account, validate, verify, click here, etc. Yeah, phishing crazy. Yes. Phishing emails like these always have a sense of urgency and aggression with them, and generally include a link to a fake webpage that mimics a website that you may think you are on. Fishy site.
How do I know that?
It can be tricky. Hover over the link and look in the lower left-hand corner of your web browser to see the URL. It should accurately reflect the link address you think you're going to go to.
How do I know if this URL is legitimate?
It shouldn't begin with IP addresses like 175.152.28. Legitimate companies like mail.image.edu, not image.edu.preamble.net. If the site has additional pages, the URL will come after the .com, .edu, .org, etc. And it will contain forward slashes, something like image.edu/esig.
Alright, not a legitimate URL. What should I do?
Mark it as spam and delete it. But if you're at a site you verified as legitimate, just make sure before you enter any personal information that the URL says HTTPS. Not just HTTP. Yeah, the S is for security. I'm trying to get your personal information.
So
Ding, 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 ding. We got a winner. Pretty much. But just because the password's hidden doesn't mean it's always legit. You always have to check the URL to do it safe. When in doubt, get help to verify the email is actually legitimate.
good to know.
And hey, just remember, think before you click most.
Ransomware is a scary new kind of malware that can lock down your computer or our entire network until you pay a ransom. Once it's on your system, it's trouble. But take a look at how our hero handles a potential ransomware attack.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want with my files. If you're looking for ransom, you won't get it. That's because I have a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired to shut down ransomware crooks like you. Not only do I back up my files regularly, I also keep a recent backup offsite. You'll never find it. And I'm safe in case of fire, flood, or theft. Your attempt to fool me into enabling macros will never work either. That's because I've installed Microsoft Office viewers, which let me see Word or Excel documents without macros. Oh, and you think you can trick me into opening your ransomware by hiding the SIM attachment? Guess again. I never open unsolicited attachments. I keep my security software up to date, so I'm ready to take on jokers like you. No, you won't be getting anything from me today. I promise you that.
So you see, if you take the right steps, you can keep ransomware from taking down our systems and costing us big bucks. Remember, back up your data, keep your software up to date, and watch out for suspicious email containing macros or unexpected attachments.
Something smells fishy. Hasina works for the marketing department in a major local bank. My bank behind and is busy preparing for their annual golf tournament. She has been promoting the tournament using social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Mr. Brown is a social engineer and he wants to steal sensitive account information of the bank's customers. He decides that the best way is by exploiting the mistakes made by the employees of My Bank Behind and to leverage readily available information from the internet regarding the bank. While researching about the bank, Mr. Brown comes across Athena's postings on the golf tournament and references to her personal details as the point of contact for any queries regarding the tournament. Aha! Mr. Brown has what he needs. Mr. Brown crafts a spear phishing email targeting Athena. The free lunch. The financial. He is an avid online shopper and is constantly on the lookout for good deals. While shopping online, he normally checks out good deals from online advertisements. Mr. Brown is a social engineer, and he is trying to steal valuable information from unsuspecting victims. He decides the best way is by exploiting human greed of wanting something for free. So he creates online scams that request users for confidential details that he can then harvest for financial gains. One day, while shopping online, he comes across an advertisement for a buy one free one lunch offer at one of Kuala Lumpur's prominent five-star hotels. He quickly clicked on the advertisement. Upon clicking on the link, Lee was redirected to a webpage requesting for his credit card details to secure the deal. This was a fake advertisement placed by Mr. Brown.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome to this workshop on safety and security on the internet, organized by the Consortium of Southwest State Chapters of the Nigerian Computer Society. We would like to welcome you and so please thank you for taking your time off from whatever you are doing this weekend to attend. We thank you very much. Our line of speakers for this afternoon is we have the keynote speaker, Dr. Bukola Onashoga, who is an associate professor of information security at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. She's already joined us, and she'll be making a speech very soon. She's also the Southwest coordinator for the Nigerian Computer Society. You're welcome. The moderator for our session this afternoon is Dr. Aderonke Thompson. She's the head of department, CyberSecurity department at the Federal University of Technology, Akure. You're welcome, ma. She's also the secretary for the Ondo State chapter of the Nigerian Computer Society. So she'll be moderating the session. And our other guest speakers, we have Professor Karen Reynolds she's the professor of cybersecurity from Abeokuta University, Dundee in Scotland. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So she will also be joining us. You're very welcome, Professor Karen.
Thank you very much.
Our other speaker will be Mr. Olugbenga Olumuyiwa, who's a consultant with Hewlett-Packard. Is based in the US, and he will be connecting to us from the United States of America. So you're welcome, Mr. Olumuyiwa.
Thank you very much.
I also like to welcome Mr. Victor Olofinlade, who will be taking the practical session. He is the head and manager security operations for CyberSoc. That's I think Security Operations Center Africa. He will be handling the practical session, so we have a feel for what we're going to do. So we welcome you all. Welcome, Mr. Olofinlade. Can we hear your voice? Okay, so while we're waiting for him, we'll kickstart the program. I think we have a 5 minutes brief presentation from each of the speakers, so we have an idea of what they want to talk about, and then we will then continue with our program. So I would like to, Professor Karen, can you just give us a summary of what you want to talk about to whet our appetite so that we can all hang in there and wait for you to speak?
Thank you. May I share some slides on my screen?
Yes, please do.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, so what I want to talk about is a project that I've been doing at my university with my colleague Susie Pryor. She is unfortunately not able to join us today. There's illness in her family, but so I'm here on her behalf as well. So I want to talk about children and cyber, not just security, but safety as well. So children are going online. So from the research, we know that children are going online from about 5 years of age. And so as parents and educators, we need to find out and know how we can help them to navigate this virtual world, because as much as there's all those wonderful things on the internet, children can specifically be harmed on the internet because of their immaturity and just not really understanding how to keep themselves safe. And so we also need to think about what kind of principles they should learn at different ages, because children are not just mini adults. They develop at certain ages, and they develop skills that we as adults have, but they don't yet have them at a very young age. And if you think about 5-year-olds, there's lots of things they cannot yet understand, and they cannot protect themselves the way we can. And so we have to really think about how we can help them. And so really what my talk today is about: what should parents and educators do in this situation? And I'm not going to tell the whole story because that would take a whole day, but I am going to talk a little bit about some of the harms and what parents and educators can do from their side to protect our children and to make sure that they are kept secure and safe.
Okay.
And the most important thing, I'm sorry, this is my last slide.
Yeah.
The most important thing really is for people to understand the difference between what cyber safety is and what cybersecurity is. And I'll end there for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we have Mr. Olumuyiwa?
Right. Just a minute.
While you're holding on, please, for those online, if you know people who are trying to join, can you please refer them to the YouTube link?
Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you have highlights on it.
Yeah, so I'll be speaking about what exactly is malware, then the types that we have, what are the motives behind this, then how exactly do this malware operate, and how does it spread? How can we catch it? I mean, how does it affect our systems, phones, laptops, and systems at home? And what are the signs? How do you know that you've been infected by a malware? And finally, what can you do to make sure that, I mean, you don't get infected? I think that's the summary of what I'll be speaking about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olumuyiwa. We look forward to your presentation. I would like to call on Mr. Olofinlade, if he has been able to join, to make a summary. Are you online, Mr. Olofinlade? Mr. Olofinlade? Okay, so let's, without wasting too much time then, when it comes in, I'll let you know. You will give me a private message. Let's call on the keynote speaker to give us a presentation for about 15 minutes, and then we can get the feedback. We can put down our questions as she's speaking, and then if you want to send them by chat, please do. I'll try and see if I can copy them. If not, find some other means, put it on the YouTube channel, put it on Zoom. I'll pick it up one way or the other, and then we can have, when we get to the Q&A, we'll be able to answer that. So I'd like to call on Dr. Bukola Onashoga, the keynote speaker for this afternoon. You're welcome. You have the screen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Shade. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, today I shall be talking about the safety and security, and knowing fully that every other person shall be also speaking on the security, internet security, some part of internet security. I'll be focusing on password, specifically password, and some part, a little bit of mobile device security. So that's what I shall be looking at. Thank you.
So do you want to share your slides with us?
No.
Okay.
When the presentation starts, I will.
Oh, yeah, I've given you the floor. You are the keynote speaker. Now. It's up to you to start now, please.
Oh, I thought I'm still giving. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Just a moment, please. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, very well. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon once again. Thanks for this opportunity. I want to welcome everyone on behalf of NCS Consortium of Southwest state chapters. Well, we all know what is happening in the cyber world. The world is growing, and the cyber space is equally growing with it without any limitation. And there's something we need to understand. There are some people that we users don't even know they operate at the back end. You don't know the type of person they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know the type of operation they are on. And that is exactly why it is very important to look into, to consider the security and the safety as it affects our devices, as it affects our life. So my next slide will start on internet. Even though I know so many people have an understanding of internet, but this lecture will not be fulfilled if I don't hammer on it, if I don't go back on its definition. One, internet, as we all know, is interconnection of network. Network is a computer connection of different computers, and everyone is connected to it. This the only platform where we all interact. And you can see on that picture, I have different organizations, different industries, different information system. They are all there. And you have Alice and Bob accessing the internet. We have millions of people connected to it. This next slide shall be looking at the structure of the internet. What are those components that are attached to internet? Number one, I've mentioned internet itself, of which if there wouldn't have been a cyber space if not for internet, okay? And we also have what we call the World Wide Web. That's when you have different documents that are hyperlinked together through the internet to form a web, and it now became World Wide Web. Now I have the intranet, which is the private computer network. And you have the packets when you are transferring data, whatever you're transferring on the internet, okay, that's the unit, the quantification of that data is the packet. And it has three parts. You have the source address from where it's coming from and where it's going, and the payload, that's itself, okay? Then you also have a protocol, that's a set of rules that govern that transmission. That's a set of agreed signals, codes and rules for the exchange, for the transmission of the data. And equally, as part of the structure of the internet, you have IP address. There is, for every router, for every system that is connected, for every device, there is an IP address that is generated. And you also have a domain name, okay? Domain name that identifies one or more IP address. That is, for example, IP addresses. And you also have the URL, which is the identifier, that's the uniform resource locator that identifies a resource. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. And also, we cannot forget the internet service provider. Those are the organization that maintains the devices, the connection. Okay, they're the one that sell internet access to people. And you equally have the server. That's where all the processes have been carried out, all the services have been rendered. You have the web server, you have the web pages through the web server, you have the clients and the rest. Now, where my next slide shall be illustrating on how DNS, okay, just hold on, on how DNS works. You know, I mentioned domain name service, okay? Domain name service, one thing is this guy, Bob, is making a request to access the internet, okay? And the URL is using, he wants to access the web page is the dogj.net. One thing that it does is it requests, when it makes the request, it requests the local ISP to provide the DNS, okay? And that's looking for the IP address of docj.net. And what that does is, it has to, if it doesn't have it, it doesn't know about docj.net, it has to go through the first level server. The first level server is there to check if that IP address, if it knows about it. If it doesn't, then it goes to the root server. The root server, what it does is it has an idea of all the names, Microsoft.com, all the .com, all the .org, all the .net, everything. It manages them. And if at the end of the day, it could not find .net, what it does is it goes back to another first level server, okay? And that has to interact again with a DNS server. It is the DNS server that will now give the response. Oh, this is the IP address for docj.net, okay? And which will now be communicated back to Bob. This is just what happens. I have to talk about it, about this part, because when my colleagues start talking about phishing attack, we all know what transpires. Now, next is, I shall be picking on the cyberspace itself. The cyberspace is an environment of the internet that is made possible by the internet, and everybody is connected to it. Now, the cyberspace has security challenges because you don't know who is who. You don't know who is behind what. And there are three fundamental security paradigms. You have the confidentiality, you have the integrity, and you have the availability. When you talk about the confidentiality, you're actually looking at, okay, a very good system, a secured system to be able to provide that confidence, that level of confidentiality, that there shouldn't be any disclosure of information. I'm still going to talk about that. Now, integrity is talking about the data itself, the information itself. Nothing has been tampered with it. Then availability is just talking about 24/7. Your information, the service is available. There is no denial of service. So every secure system, every secure space must have these three fundamental security paradigm. Now, and I'll go on to the safety and the security on the internet itself. You can see these guys, they are communicating, some protected, some not protected, and they don't, I will assume they don't know themselves. Just meet, discuss, they are meeting, just like we are meeting now. I don't know who is who, okay? And there is need for one to be conscious of that space, what is happening at that space. Now, this COVID-19, I think is what actually brought this idea of the virtual seminar, the need for this virtual seminar, because Nigeria itself has witnessed a lot of security challenges, that's cybersecurity challenges. And well, I'm not going to really talk about all this. I only have the pictures because I've had my colleague is going to talk about some of this part. I'll just quickly mention what Nigeria has experienced, because there's need for us to know that even during this period, Nigeria had been had experienced what even ransomware attack. Okay, some people have been, some companies have been challenged and they've been attacked in a way that they had to commit some sum, okay, to be able to get their information, their login back. Okay, that's ransomware. You can see this guy, you have to give him the key. You've got to get a key for you to be able to have access. Okay, you give money back in return, okay, for a key, for you to be able to access back your ransom. My colleague is going to talk about that. And phishing, which is also an act of phishing attack, that's true calls so many people have fallen victim during this period. And you also have SMS that's missing, and all different types of security challenges. Now, these three guys here, these the different types of acts that these people they use in penetrating the cyberspace. You have these three bodies here. You have different categories. You have them as hackers. You can see the guy in black. They call him a black art. A black art is a bad guy, and what it does is it compromises the system in total. It doesn't care. Okay, it does it for money. Okay, and it doesn't care. The guy in white face is a white hack. That one I can say is an ethical hacker. Okay, what it does is, okay, it could be a security analyst. It could be a cybersecurity analyst. It could be doing it for companies to be able to know, okay, the level of vulnerability in the system. Okay, and likewise, you have the gray guy. The gray guy stands in between the offensive and the defensive, in between the two of them. And what are those acts? We have the hacking, okay, when they hack the system, they disrupt the flow, they distort the communication. You have the identity, true identity, with your personal information, they'll use that. Then scamming, computer viruses, denial of service, disrupting the flow of a system, truncating the services at that time. Then botnets, spamming, social engineering, cyberbullying. We're still going to talk about this. Now, where are the targets? The targets we all know basically is you and your devices. Okay, that's the user. That's why you have the user at the center. Okay, when they target you, and when they get you, every other thing will be affected. Okay, they get you through your mobile device, through your social media, through your communication, as we are here. That's the communication through different communication apps. You have the network, you have infrastructure, you have so many of these as targets of these guys, these hackers, and that's the more reason why we need to be very conscious, okay, and protect our system. Now, next I shall be looking. Excuse me. Okay, I shall be looking at password. Now, it's very important for me to talk about this because one, when you're talking about having access to all those devices, all what you have, your data, your devices, your network, your infrastructure, your every other thing. One thing is password, which we all know is the most common of all the logins, okay, that will provide you access, okay, to a particular system. And there's something about password. It's very interesting, and as interesting as it is, one needs to be very careful with it. Number one is the generation of it, okay? The generation of the password is very important. The composition of the password is very important, and where you are storing your password is equally important. There are so many companies, so many organizations that demand password, but at the same time, they don't keep they don't keep them safe. Okay, what I mean is a password, when it's received, when it's saved, okay, is meant to be secured, okay, to be protected. But some organizations, if you're not very careful, you just throw away your assets, okay? And another thing about password is, one, if you don't trust anybody with it. You don't trust anybody with it. And that's why I have here a user disclosure, okay? When you think you trust people and you release your password, some people are so fond of this. They will release their password. They will give their login to their access details for someone to get to use their ATM card. This is very wrong. Okay, we need to be aware of this. It's very wrong. You don't trust anybody. Anybody that is very close to you can compromise you. And there are different ways that you can guide yourself. Okay, number one is you don't throw open your password. Don't write it anywhere. Don't keep it anywhere. If it's possible for you, use a password manager. I'm just going to give a demonstration of web browser, how you can deal with web browser that don't keep your password, that don't protect your password. Okay, and the social engineering part is there. My colleague will talk about that. But social engineering is what is killing users now. Is a serious problem. So many people are falling victim of attacks on our social media, and it is via this social engineering. Whatever you're sharing on social media, you need to be very careful. You have to be very careful. Don't share sensitive information, okay? And well, I'll just rest on that. Then phishing too is like when you give a bait to fish. It's okay. My colleague will talk about that. The key login part, key login is another means by which your password, okay, could be compromised. There are two categories. There are two different dimensions to it. You have the hardware part and you have the software part. One thing is always very possible in a very public place for key loggers, okay, to be plugged in. That's talking about hardware. Okay, that's the more reason why one needs to be very, very careful when you are in a public place. And also, when when there is a port for an hardware to be plugged in, then that means it is possible to install a keylogger software. Okay, so one needs to be very careful with that. So be careful of public where you even charge your system. Wherever you charge, you go outside, you go to a mall, you see an opportunity, a free power. Okay, you plug in your system. No, it is wrong. You have to be very careful. Then wireless sniffing. Now, wireless sniffing is like it's dropping. Okay, when the information okay via the network and you think it's protected. No, except that information. Let me just rush over this. I have also the brute force attack, guessing brute force when you have it doesn't cost them anything to sit down and start checking and start rolling out different passwords for them to be able to check. But one thing is when your password is very strong, there's no how the brute force or guessing attack can compromise you. Likewise, dictionary attack looks for common password. You don't use common password. Like some people, they'll use password as password. I can't imagine. Then password files that are not encrypted. Okay, encryption, there are encryption software that's legitimate, that are legit and that you can use. Okay, and all the rest. Then security question. I need to quickly say this. There are some accounts that provide security question for a two-factor, to make a two-factor authentication. And one thing that you need to take home now is for security question, the best you can do is, because we are all on social media. On social media, one thing is we all have our personal information. We've been saying this, be careful with what information you share on social media, even your picture, okay? Okay.
Thank you very much, Ma. Can you start rounding off so that we can...
Quickly do this, please. Okay. Now I have this screen here. This screen, okay, is a browser on my page. Okay, one thing is you can easily all your password on. I just clicked on the menu list. When you click on this menu, okay, it will take you to a privacy and security option, a button for you to check, which is on the left side. Then you scroll down for you to get the to pick on your login and password. For your login and password, okay, you click on the master password. The master password will allow you, okay, that's the only password to all your accounts. So many people have 1,001 accounts on even Google, okay? But with your master password, but one thing you must know is if you forget your master password, you have to be very careful. So you don't forget, you will lose all your accounts. So an alternative to that is for you to use a password manager. Okay, so well, maybe another time we'll get to talk more about the mobile device security. I'm sorry, but the mobile device security, we just we'll learn more about that. We are learning, and we'll learn more.
All right, so thank you very much, ma'am.
About the malware. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all to all those who have been with us so far. We thank the guest speaker, Dr. Onashoga, for our speech. On our Zoom platform, we have 100 participants currently logged in. And on the YouTube channel, we have 82 people watching us right now. We want to thank all those people for the time that you are taking to be with us. Let me show my face. Okay, so I'm doing the job of the moderator at the moment. I want to thank you all for staying with us. I would like to recognize the following people who are online. Ibrahim Tise, which is I think was a former CPN registrar and then president. Dr. John Otumu from Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Dr. Kainde Adenegan, Dr. Mike Awole, Professor J.A. Ayeni, Professor Gundaunsi, Professor Rashid Jimo is also online. I want to thank you all for joining. The director of MIS from Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo, you are welcome. One of our fellows, Tunde Ogunremi, is also online. We thank you. Dr. Iludiora, Dr. Awoyelu, and all the others who have joined on YouTube. I want to thank you very much for being with us. I would like to call on our next speaker. Please, if you have questions, like I said, send them through the chat. Send it on YouTube or send it through the Zoom chat. I'll pick it up from there, and then we will have our speakers to answer all of them. So without wasting too much time, let me call on Professor Karen. She's going to speak to us about children and safety on the internet. Please, you have the floor now. And we're still waiting for Mr. Olofinlade to join us. I think we're having a login issue. He will join us very soon. So please join me in welcoming Professor Karen Reynolds to give our presentation. You're welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much. And just thanks to Dr. Onashoga for inviting me and for this organization for hosting me. It's a great privilege to be able to speak to all of you today. So as I said in my introduction, that it's really important to understand the difference between these two terms because they are different and they need us to do different things for our children. Cybersecurity, as Dr. Onashoga already said, is about keeping your information confidential, ensuring that it has integrity, in other words, that it is correct and that it is available when you need it. And it also includes the devices that store this information. And that's what security is about. It's about information and devices. Now, the thing to think about with cybersecurity is that it either succeeds or it fails. It's a binary situation. It works or it fails and your information is compromised. So there's no halfway mark with cybersecurity. And so how should we teach our children good security principles? But so I haven't got that much time today. So I'm also going to talk about passwords. I'm really glad that Dr. Onashoga introduced this concept. It's really easy for me to hook into that now. So the thing with children is that we, as parents and educators, we know that you cannot explain the same things to a child of 9 that you can explain to a child of 5. We have, in a sense, as parents and educators, what children can understand. And so we have to tailor what we do with respect to passwords as well, based on where the child is in their personal development. If we think about the differences between adults and children, the first one is literacy. A child of 5 is on the internet, but they cannot necessarily yet read or know all their letters of the alphabet. But a password is essentially an alphanumeric string, which means we are expecting something from them that they cannot necessarily do yet. We also need the child to be able to focus. And by focus, I mean you hold the password in your head. You hold the position in your head that you are at the time that you are entering the password. So if your password is password, you go P, and then in your mind, you realize the next letter is an A, then an S, and an S. And this is not necessarily that easy for young children to do. They obviously are very smart and will learn it, but right when they're very young, this is not a skill they necessarily yet have. The next thing is that we need to be able to keep secrets, because if a password is leaked and somebody else gets to know it, they can act as you on the internet, and this is a problem. Passwords have to be kept secret. There's also keyboard challenges. If you think about the fact that children, if you look at the top right-hand part of my screen, this is how children are taught how to write an A and an A. But on the screen, on the keyboard, it's a capital A, but when the child types it in, they get a small a. And if they want the capital A, they have to use Shift A. This is unusual. They will learn very quickly, but it's not intuitive for them. And then think about the fact that when you learn how to write, the A looks like it looks at the top right-hand part of my screen. But in fact, what they see on the keyboard, on the screen, is this strange A that we all know as adults, but it can't. So children might very well be quite confused by this initially. And so we came up with this idea of doing 3 age-appropriate sets of password best practice, where we try to align the password best practice with what the child is ready to cope with. And I'm not going to tell you all of them. There's quite a lot of them. It's all in our paper, which is currently online, and you can download it if you like. But I'll just give you a taster. So for example, you can tell all children that they will not be able to play a game if they forget their password. Everyone can understand this, and you see the little people on the left. These are the 3 age groups that we're targeting, and there's no problem with telling everybody that. Even the smallest child can understand this. The fact that you should, somebody other than your mommy and your dad and your carer and your teacher, if anybody knows your password, this is not a good idea. But obviously, especially at a young age, parents and teachers do need to be able to help the children with their passwords. But when you talk about someone watching you, looking over your shoulder as you're entering your password, this is something that a very young child is going to struggle to cope with, because they're using all their cognitive resources to cope with having to enter that password themselves. They can't necessarily have their head around the corner to see if somebody else is trying to watch them. Someone may find your written down password. This is once again, because we cannot assume that a 4 to 5-year-old child is able to even write. This is not something you would necessarily tell them about. Someone guessing your password. Once again, children do not have the ability at a very young age to imagine that somebody else would try to do something like this. But as they get older, they do understand, and you can explain it to them. The fact that there's password reuse, this is the best way to get into everything we do. And so if we explain this to the older child, because the older child can put themselves in the head of somebody else and think, oh yes, if I reuse my password, they may be able to do this as well. So this is something, but only oldest group really. You can, I mean, maybe some younger kids, but mostly the older group will only understand this. Then we have password leakage. You can tell the younger kids. Someone else may tell the computer that they are you. This is a very simple way of explaining impersonation, but the children can understand this very easily, especially because they're very attached to their games. And when the child gets older, you use a bigger word. You say that somebody pretending to be you. Here, they have much bigger vocabulary, and they can understand what you're getting at. And finally, throughout all ages, the children must be able to have this trusted adult relationship with an adult who is helping them to navigate this online world, to be able to speak about anything because if we don't have those open communication lines, that is when children get harmed. Now, in terms of advice to help kids to create a good password, we don't want them to use the word password. We don't want them to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so we tell them to make a silly sentence. And in the work I've done with children, very young children, they really get this and they love it. They come up with really silly sentences. And because it's silly, they do know how to reproduce that. The oldest child can say, make your password hard to guess. This is once again the child being able to put themselves into somebody else's head and think what other people may know about them that may help them to guess. So if you have a dog or a cat, you don't use the dog or the cat's name. Finally, as I was saying, the child can turn around and see if anybody's watching before they enter their password. All children can do that, but to think about it while they're entering the password, there you need an older child to be older to understand. And to be able to monitor that, you need to have the attentional skills to be able to monitor that while you are entering your password. And now I can move on to cyber safety. And this is a different thing, and I'll explain why it's different. Cyber safety is about preventing harms to humans. This is no longer about information and devices. This is now the actual person who's using the machine. And of course, children, even in society anywhere, are more at risk than adults are because we are better at protecting ourselves. And there are 3 aspects we have to deal with here. The content that the child is viewing might hurt them. Somebody may try to contact this child, an adult may try to contact this child on the internet to harm them. And it's about the child's conduct towards other people. Those are called the 3 C's. And cyber safety one is very different from cybersecurity. Remember, I told you earlier that we have a situation where cybersecurity is about binary, it works or it doesn't work. But with cyber safety, children are safer or they are less safe. There's a continuum, and nobody is ever 100% safe anywhere on this planet. But we can try to keep the children safer so that they do not go into that red zone. But you're going to ask me, can't children be harmed if the information is leaked? So if they tell someone their password or anything? And of course, yes, you're right. We have a cybersecurity failure then, which leads to harm and less cyber safety. So they are linked, but they are not the same thing at all. And so cyber safety is considered the child protection issue of our time. Previously we had other harms that we were trying to protect our children from. Now we really have these harms that are coming from the internet that we need to learn how to help kids with. And so once again, what should parents and educators do in this situation? And there are some categories of things that you can do. And the first thing really is we are parents. We teach our children everything they know. We bring them up. We convey our values to them. And cyber safety is no different. Cyber safety and security is just no different. As long as we educate ourselves, we can tell the people exactly what to do. We have to be a trusted adult. We have to be able to speak to their parent or carer. The child needs to have that relationship where they don't think the parent or carer is going to go, oh my gosh, are you stupid? Did you do that thing? It's more about, being able to have those difficult conversations so that the child feels like they can come to the parent or the educator with any concerns they have. There's technology that we can use to prevent harms for ourselves as well as for our children, and we should harness that. And then we should monitor the child's activities. Now, you wouldn't monitor a 16-year-old necessarily, but you would definitely monitor a very young child and then withdraw that monitoring as the child learns how to keep themselves safe. And so there's some aspects that we can use. So we have to teach the child principles, as I've said before, and I'm not going to go into that anymore. We should always install antivirus software on any machine the child is going to use. The child doesn't need to be taught about this. We can just put that technology in place and help them. We must explain how to spot phishing messages. And phishing is a huge problem, even for adults, but we can start by helping the child and then tell the child, if you're not sure, come and speak to us, because the adult will have a much better sense of how to to spot those messages than the child. And that goes back to the trusted relationship. In terms of hacking, we really want to be able to communicate to the child right from a young age that this is wrong. And if the child starts trying to guess other children's passwords and things like that, they mustn't think it's funny or it's cute or it's clever. We have to, because if you tolerate it at a young age, the child will think it's okay and they might start getting into trouble doing it when they're older. telling people where you are at that moment in time as a child might put the child in danger, and they just can be told, don't be so specific. It's not an advisable thing to do. This is really a teaching moment for the parents. Then we have putting so much information online, what your birthday is, what, you know, where you were born, where you live. This is stuff that none of us should do, and children may not realize because they're very open and trusting. These tracking devices, they're all very nice, but they leak a lot of the children's data because they're not secured properly. And this is the one area where I would advise, don't let your kids wear these things because they have not been designed securely. What about these devices we have in our homes that are so amazingly convenient? You have to configure them so that they don't let the child order stuff and they don't tell the child bad jokes or that sort of thing. They need to be aware that this is a child in the house and you protect them. I don't know if you guys are aware of this doll. That's not for sale anymore, but it was very easy to hack. And it was not really good what people were doing because they were teaching children swear words and things by putting a new vocabulary into these dolls. Dr. Onashoga spoke about this and people sniffing the network and stealing your data. And this is obviously what happens a lot when people hook onto public Wi-Fi, and it's very easy to prevent. You don't have to explain this to the child. You can put a VPN on and then the child is not at risk. Then what about people who specifically try to sell things to children? In some countries, there are laws about this. And it's less of a problem, but in any case, the child needs to know that this might happen. They need to know to speak to their parents to say, look, I want to buy this thing, and the parent can explain why, no, this is not necessary, instead of just going and maybe taking the parent's credit card and trying to buy it. There are configurations you can put online to kind of reduce the possibility that this will happen to your child. Then there are people who put these weird challenges up for children to cut yourself for Bieber. Children need to know that this might happen and that it's a really silly thing to follow up because they can get hurt and harmed. And this is physical harm. And so we have to really put a halt to this to make sure that children understand. And then we have the children getting addicted. Also, once again, making sure they understand that this can happen and why it's really bad for them to sit in front of the computer all the hours that they are awake. Then there are things that children see that no child should ever see. It's on the internet and they may stumble upon it. They need to be able to speak to the parents if this happens so that you can help them to cope with what they have seen. But there are ways to prevent. Once again, you can configure things like YouTube to make them child friendly so the kids don't see those kinds of things. Once again, bullying each other. This is a major thing in schools. Kids need to be able to speak to their parents if they're being bullied. And to understand that this is not the right thing to do themselves. Sexting, huge issue in teenage years. Once again, a child needs to understand that once you've put something on the internet, it never goes away. That's a really strong principle. If they get that, they probably would not do this. Grooming, this is the one we're all worried about, which is adults trying to connect to your children online. If you have those channels open and you're checking what the child is doing online, they're less likely to, the adult who's trying to contact them is less likely to be able to do this. This is a clear contact issue when we come to online harms. We do not allow underage children to use social media before they are ready. And there are very strict guidelines about this, and we should ensure that our children respect these guidelines because they're made for a very good reason. And so I would like to thank you very much for your attention today. I know I've gone through this fairly fast, but I only had 15 minutes. And I'm very happy to be contacted if you have any questions about this. And that's a paper that is available right now online about the age-appropriate password principles. And I will just thank you very much for now.
Thank you very much, Professor Karen. I'll still like you to connect your screen. A number of people want to see your face. They were seeing just the slide, so they would like to see your face. Okay, for those people on YouTube, can you just wait a while the YouTube link connects to your face? While we're waiting, Mr. Muiwa should please get ready. Prof. Karen, please wait. I still can't see you on YouTube. And I want the people on the YouTube to be able to see your face. Okay, so you're there now. So just say some hello to them. Can you remove your mic and say something? Can we please unmute Professor?
I've unmuted.
Yeah, okay. Let's hear you.
Hello.
Want to say hello to us in Nigeria?
Hello in Nigeria.
Do you know any Yoruba words or any Nigerian words?
No, you'll have to teach me. You'll have to teach, or I'll get, yeah, definitely teach me.
Okay. Thank you so much for your presentation on how we handle kids. And she made a distinction between the ages of the children, so that when you are dealing with children, you deal with them separately based on the different age groups. Please, like I said, your questions, send them through the chat so that I can. I have about just 2 or 3 questions so far. I need more questions to come in so that we can have a robust discussion after the presentation. So while we're waiting for that, I would like to welcome Professor Oluwatope from Obafemi University for joining us. You're welcome. I think Professor Akinyokun also joined. It's on YouTube. You're welcome also, sir. For all the other people who have joined, thank you so much. We are now at 104 people on YouTube and 100 on Zoom. So that's about 200 people. We thank you for taking out the time. We'll go through straight away to the next presentation. And our instructor is ready. Mr. Olumuyiwa, you're welcome. You have the floor now for the next 15 minutes. Mr. Olumuyiwa.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning and good evening for those that might be joining in from Asia. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So I've got only 15 minutes to share what we normally teach in few hours, but we'll see how far we can go. I already went through this, so let me just ride on straight. So what exactly is a malware? This is one of the most dangerous systems, or application to the internet world. It simply means, it's a combination of 2 words: malicious software. So softwares that are written for the purpose of creating problems, not solutions. Now, take note that when this was started, it wasn't meant, to cause a problem. You can imagine a dynamite. When dynamites were created, they were supposed to be used, to blow rocks, right? So that those who needed them, those who were working at the quarries could get these rocks in smaller pieces. The same thing with this, malware. They were supposed to be used to test how strong a particular system is. But then, hackers have capitalized on it, and they're using it to cause serious harms and damages. Now, to let us know how serious this is, we have companies like, companies that have been heavily affected. We have Yahoo, we have AT&T, we have eBay, we have UPS, we have, Dairy Queen, we have, just a minute, JP Morgan, that's a bank. We also have, we have Google itself has been affected. Apple, Apple's case, was bad that they were able, actually, this has to do with the password presentation that Dr. Onashoga mentioned. They were able to guess some of the artist passwords, and they actually logged into their email system and were able to download, their cloud, and were able to download some of their private information. Now, when we talk about malware, there are several examples. The first one is viruses, which we we've heard about. We have the worms. Then we have what we call the spyware. We have the ransomware. We have the hardware. We have the Trojan horse, and we also have this scareware. Now, for most of us, I mean, when you're infected, you might not really know, I mean, what which one has, I mean, is infecting you. But this is just for us to know that we have different names for them. So we can identify exactly what it is, and when you know what I mean, what exactly has infected your system, you know exactly how it got in and what you can use to quench it. Spyware, as the name says, I mean, it's actually used for spying. It's a software that is written, and most of these softwares get onto our system through mistakes that we made. I mean, that we made downloading free applications or going to fake sites. So be careful. I mean, when you see a free software, be very careful. And like the professor from Scotland said, you need to ensure that you have antivirus installed on your system. And most of them will tell you if a website is safe or not, and they will tell you if an application is good or not. Now, these softwares, they can, I mean, once they are written. So in my place of work, we have this test that we conduct. We will actually send you one of these softwares deliberately and see if you open it. If you open it, it will send us an email. And once we get that email, that means you are being careless as an employee. And they will send you a link to go for a training which is what we're currently doing now. I mean, you have to go through that cybersecurity training, and it is mandatory, so that, because if all a hacker needs is just to attack one laptop or one system on a network, and that gives them access to millions. So these softwares, they can collect your email address, your private data. I mean, they can reroute you to a fake website, or they can create loopholes through which they can get other information. And like somebody mentioned, they can also monitor every key that you type. So they don't need to see you typing, but every key that you type can be sent to them through this spyware. And that's why, I mean, we call it, I mean, keylogger software. Every key that you type. So when you log in and you type in your password and your username, it sends it to them in plain text. Now, viruses, I mean, which are the most popular? These are small applications, and they need a software to run. They need an application. They cannot run by themselves. So they attach themselves to a file or to a software that you download. Now, the purpose for creating these viruses, basically to create deletion or destruction of your data. They can modify your messages and begin to send fake messages to people, or your text messages. Sometimes they begin to display very annoying messages, and some of them can even completely reconfigure your system such that you'll not be able to shut down or start except you physically unplug your cable or your battery. Now, some of them are so bad that they infect the boot sector. Before now, most of the antiviruses, right, they don't scan the boot sector. They only scan your hard disk. And so some of these viruses, they actually find their way into the boot sector. The boot sector of your system is actually where your operating system, I mean, where it resides. And so it has special security, such that even if you make a mistake on your application software, your system can still boot. But these viruses look for a way to get to the boot sector, and they corrupt everything. Sometimes they can prevent you from shutting down, or prevent you from even starting, prevent you from even opening any file. And some of them are now, so with respect to the macros, this is the difference between some of the systems that run on Windows and those that run on Linux and maybe Apple devices. Now, Windows, runs a lot of micro programs, and those can be vulnerable, and that's why you see that on your Windows devices, you have to keep updating them. And I think, yeah, so much about that. We have worms. You'll be wondering which one is worm, which one is virus. Worms, they can reproduce on themselves. They don't need to attach themselves to any application. So you don't even need to have downloaded an application, right? I mean, all you just need, is to have installed the software, or to have maybe you bring in, somebody's USB, or you go to a site. Some of us that go to restaurants and they have free Wi-Fi, and you just log in. Be very careful. Most times you might just be exposing yourself. There are little programs, and they deliver malicious payload. The programs that carry instructions that are supposed to also create damages to your system. Now we have the rootkit. These are like backup softwares, and they come attached to other softwares. When you install those softwares, they are attached to those softwares. So once you install those softwares, because they are attached, they also install themselves. Now they can also cause damages by capturing your credentials. They can they can be used for sniffing your network. They can also be used for attacking other people. For example, if some of them can get to your contact addresses or contact details, and so they can automatically generate a fake email to everybody on your address list, right? So others can be attacked through you, or if you are in a big company, through your PC, they can attack other PCs. Now, the good thing about this software, the bad thing, is that they have a way, of covering their tracks. Hardware, we see this a lot when you begin to get adverts that you didn't solicit for. Also, this comes, when we go to those fake websites and we try to download free software, or we go to an unprotected website. Now, the purpose of this malicious software is just for the people that are doing it to generate sales. We have the scareware, the one that they use to scare people. So hackers can scare you into believing that there's an infection. I used to get this a lot when I was trying to save cost by looking for antiviruses that are not so strong. Right. So then you get a software that says that you have a virus. Now, this also happens if you go to a fake website, or you download fake application, or you are exposed to a network that is not protected. Now, how do you know that you have one of these? When you see one in your computer is infected. Now, it doesn't mean your computer is actually infected. It's because you have created you have clicked on a software that will generate that message. And sometimes they will refer you that you need to buy a particular software to block, to remove the virus. Please don't do that. Most times for this one, all you have to do is just to restart your PC. Then some of them will tell you you have a virus. The fact that they say you have a virus doesn't mean you have a virus. It simply means that you are running a software that is saying that you have a virus. Right? So the purpose is just to scare you. Trojan horse. This was from a Greek name, where some enemies were trying to attack a particular group, and they came with a present. They called it a Trojan horse, and gave it to the leader. But inside that horse were lots of soldiers. So there are softwares that you download. Inside those softwares are other applications that the moment you install them, they unleash these other applications, and they begin to create confusion or malicious intentions on your devices. Whether it's your mobile phone or your Android, your iPhone, your tablet, anything that has access to the network, right? Ransomware, this one, the purpose is purely to get money. And what they do is, once you install the software, it will encrypt all your data. You will not be able to open any one of them. And the truth is that, except you pay, they won't unlock them. Now, and the issue is, most times you don't want to lose your data. So most people pay them. This has happened to very large companies, and they are very difficult to discover right now. So what are the motives? I've said some of them. To get your details, to get your private or sensitive pictures. Some people will take yeah, if it doesn't matter whether it's a nude picture or not of themselves and they store it on their cloud and stuff like that, it is still your private information. But I mean, we try to encourage people to avoid even, I mean, putting sensitive or private information in an area where you are not sure it will be safe. Or I mean, if you can even avoid putting it outside your home, we encourage that. Your login credentials, I mean, phishing attack. I mean, I think somebody, I mean, will be giving more details on phishing attacks. Then they can cause damages to your systems. I mean, identity theft. They can, I mean, they can get details of your security number, your bank account, and your debit card, and pretend that they know you. I mean, that's why you have to be careful. I mean, for those that put that date of birth, I mean, you tell people where you are going, what you are doing when you are traveling. I just arrived here and stuff like that. That's TMI, too much information. Let's be very careful. They can also scare you, I mean, into buying fake applications. When you buy those applications, they actually create a problem. I mean, they get into your system and begin to send information to them. There was a particular one that was created such that once you click on it, it actually turns on the camera on your laptop. I watched a documentary where, I mean, it was used to turn on the camera on the laptop, and it was showing everything that the person was doing. Now, how the person behind the laptop did not know that his or her camera was on, I mean, it's a different issue. Right now, how do they operate? The first thing is that they install themselves, and they make sure that you don't detect them. Now, some of them, I mean, for most of these softwares, when they finish causing the damage and you reboot, some of them remove themselves. Some of them, I mean, still remain there. And some of them, like the worms, they can actually recreate themselves. And some of them can get into your address book and send emails to everybody in your contact list. And those ones will think it is genuine. And that's how phishing works. They will think it is genuine. They open it because they see your name. And once they open it, they get infected too. Or a PC that is on the same network as your own PC, sharing the same, I mean, the same server, right? So they can reproduce, and they use different events. There's always a trigger, something that will trigger these softwares to begin to act, to begin to run. When you see payload, it simply means the objective, the damages that they are supposed to cause. And once the trigger is activated, some of them are attached to a date. Some of them, I mean, when you click on run, some of them, I mean, when you click on exec, some of them, I mean, when you try to share or you try to open an email, you activate them, and they attack you very fast and quickly. Now, how do they spread? I mean, I think, I mean, a few people have talked about this through your email. So don't open emails of someone that you do not know or you do not trust. Then through data, I mean, when we shared, there several years ago, I used to belong to, I registered, I mean, with a group where you could get free music. When something is free, you have to be careful. I mean, you get free music download. So we had like thousands of PCs that if anybody has this music that you need, you can always download it, I mean, from the person's laptop. The problem was that I did not have an antivirus on my PC. So if you download a song that is infected, it automatically destroys your PC. Now, when you share documents, right, or from suspicious websites, these are the most common areas. Now, how do you know that you are infected? When your PC or your device or your phone that was very fast yesterday suddenly becomes slow, that means there's a problem. It might not mean there's a virus, but it's a sign that there's a problem. So, and it could be most likely 90% of the time be a virus or a software that you have downloaded that is consuming your RAM, consuming your hard disk, and that is creating, I mean, what I mean is sometimes known as DOD. Then when your web browser, each time you click on it, it begins to take you to different sites that you did not plan to go to. You have a problem. When you begin to get an alert that you have been infected, it seems you have a problem. If you have Norton antivirus or McAfee or the other ones on your PC, when they alert you that you have a virus, you will know it is coming from McAfee or it's coming from Norton antivirus. But if it's something that you do not install and you're getting an alert that you have a virus, is a sign that you've been infected or you are messing with a wrong site. Now, when you suddenly realize that you can't shut down your PC, there's an infection, or putting on your PC becomes a problem, or you begin to get pop-ups that you never subscribed to, or with naked bodies, you have been infected. Now, finally, which is the most crucial, what can I do? First thing is you need to be, excuse me, just a minute, close. You need to update your system and application regularly, especially for those of us that have Androids and we use Windows. It's difficult for viruses to attack machines that are running Unix or iPhone applications, or Apple applications, because these are mostly proprietary. It doesn't mean that they cannot attack. They can still attack them, but Windows, is most susceptible. But Windows system, they are very good. They have regular updates that they send, and that's why as much as you can, make sure you have your updates set to automatic on your Windows, because hackers keep writing different softwares to compromise the vulnerability. Now, do not click a link that you're not sure of. If you're not sure, don't click it. Then use security solutions. Make sure your password is very secured. Use different passwords on different platforms. And please, if you can avoid saving your password on your laptop, please avoid it, no matter how easy, how convenient it is, right? Now, you go to a place, for a coffee or for lunch, or yes, and you need to use the bathroom. Do not leave your laptop with someone that you don't trust. Okay. The next one is avoid clicking on unknown links. If you are not sure where the link is taking you, don't click it. Be selective about which site you visit. Now, if you have antivirus installed, it will tell you if a site is safe or not. Now, it is only sites that are registered with those antivirus, that will come with that. So some sites are safe, but because they are not listed on your antivirus system, it will show as unsafe. Make sure that it's a site that it is trusted. Then beware of emails requesting for personal information. No company will request for your personal information through your emails because they know the danger. Then avoid risky websites such as those offering free software downloads. Again, notice the word free, free, free. Most times what is free can be very, very costly. You pay a very big price for it. Now, just a minute. Now, other tips. If you are concerned that your device may be infected, do an anti-scan or a virus check, or just scan your PC. Sometimes, if you reboot, it can solve the problem. Make sure you check your bank accounts regularly to be sure that there are no anomalies there. I remember, that I had an incident. I didn't check my account for a long time, only to realize that someone has been spending my money for me, and that's because it was an account that I rarely used. Anyway, I got that fixed. Be cautious with using free wireless services. Sometimes at the airports, at stores, the first time that I was hacked was because I used a free wireless service at an airport. So be very careful. Now, the airports have free wireless services, but there are other offices at the airport that also offer free wireless services. So be very careful which one you connect to. And for those of us that have, VPN software, always make sure that you before you connect to any site, turn on your VPN. I think that there's some free ones. There are some that come with our systems or our companies. So make sure that your VPN softwares is they're turned on. Those ones create a secondary layer of protection. And what they do is that everything that you send out is actually encrypted. So it becomes difficult for hackers to be able to sniff or see what you are sending or receiving. Then you again use very strong passwords. Don't use your father's name, your sister's name, your son's name, your wife's name, your date of birth, the year of the month or the month of the year. Anything like that can be guessed easily, and that's where brute force. Now, there are softwares that that can randomly go through all the numbers, all the alphabets, in less than a minute, right? So be very careful. Make sure that your passwords are very strong, combination of numbers, of asterisks and different things. Capital letter, lower cases. Avoid, don't use words. Create your own words, right? Things that don't make sense. X, M, Z, something that it's so silly. 120 X alpha @ then use different passwords for all your accounts. Use different, some of us we use one account, and once they get that one, they can attack every other account that you have. Use different passwords for your accounts. And finally, I will stop there because I had just 15 minutes. If you need to contact me, you can just use my college email address. And if anybody has any question, please feel free. I will try to answer as many as I can before I sign off. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olumoyiwa. I've already received a number of questions for you.
Okay.
So that you will take care of when we do the combined Q&A.
Is it okay? If we answer some of them on the chat, just to save time?
Some of them are repetitions. So
okay.
If you just do everything together, everybody will be okay. And your chat on Zoom will not move to the YouTube channel. So if you do it verbally, it will be okay for everyone to connect.
Thank you very much. Okay. And
right,
sorry, I forgot to appreciate the organizers of these events, and I really appreciate the opportunity. I think I forwarded it to lots of my friends. So I've got friends in UK, US that joined as well. This is something very educative. Thank you, for the opportunity. I do not take that for granted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. I'm trying to get my video on, but it's not going. But we thank you very much. We've seen your face. Yes, you want to say something? All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Olumoyiwa, once again. We thank you for the time for your presentation. We want to thank the 131 people on YouTube, 132 now, 132 people on YouTube watching. We appreciate you and your patience. We have the 100 on Zoom. So we've really gone, we have a lot of people online this evening. We thank you for your time. Mr. Ibrahim Tissa, I can see your face. You're welcome. Prof. Karen, thank you for staying online. We have the fourth presenter, Mr. Olofinlade is online now. Can you please put on your screen, Mr. Olofinlade, so we can see your face? Okay, so please, I'm still waiting. Okay, yes, he speaks. Yes, we can see you with your cyber something stuff at the back. You're welcome. He will be taking us, we'll be doing a bit of practicals with him. So we will, you will, Mr. Victor, you will go into your presentation for the 15 minutes right now, because you couldn't give us a summary before we started. So you give us the whole presentation. People are ready. They have questions. Mr. Olumoyiwa, as you were saying some technical things, some people were already ready to start tackling you. So people are engaged. People are appreciative of what they are getting, and we really appreciate you for that. So, Mr. Victor, we want you to wrap everything up nicely, connect us, and let us all be cyber conscious so that we don't let people take us off. So you're welcome. Thank you very much. I leave you to start up right now.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And thank you, everybody. I I shall share my screen and hopefully I can make everybody cybersecurity compliant and efficient. Let me just put it here. Okay. I hope my screen is too big.
Yes, we can see your screen. We can see your screen.
It's okay, great. So I've been giving.
Please hold on. Please hold on. YouTube people, just please be patient. You will get, yes, you will get the screen now. Yes, so we're ready. You can continue, Mr.
Okay, great. Thank you, NCS. Thank you, Dr. Onashoga. Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Thompson, Dr. Mrs. Onashoga. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad to be here as well. I've been given a very big task to do a practical demonstration, and Dr. Onashoga kept mentioning practical demonstration. I hope I am able to give you what is expected. Basically, I'll be talking about attack methodologies and practical demonstration on how to combat cyber attacks. Case studies, phishing or fake emails, as you would see. And thanks to COVID-19, phishing has been really enhanced by the pandemic, and it has become the game in the industry. I will take you a bit back to like 2008. I have a bit of research skills, so I like to draw my inferences from past records. There are 6 most cyber attack methodologies that attackers use, right? And I've been able to do a correlation between 2018 and 2020, and I will explain to you why. Significantly, social engineering and phishing became the top of the task in 2020. Now, Mr. Olemuyiwa mentioned malwares and software, sophisticated malware attacks that compromise systems. Yes, this happened in 2018, and it was one of the top most attacks in 2018. Why? Because sophistication wasn't that robust for companies like IBM, HP, different companies, Axite, and tech got better, right? So it meant that hackers need to write more sophisticated scripts to be able to exploit these systems. Pardon me, my terminologies might be very a bit advanced, but I will be explaining what exploitation means and what most of these terminologies are. Now, but security will always be as efficient as the weakest link, which is the humans. But there was one thing that happened between 2018 and 2020. Humans did not get sophisticated. There was no enlightenment on how to prevent themselves from being attacked. So in 2020, attackers started targeting human beings, basically, right? And that is why social engineering and phishing was one of the top attack methodologies that have been used, which is the case of why we are here to learn. Now, social engineering and phishing, my senior colleagues and previous speakers have been talking about phishing, social engineering and all, and how it has been the order of the day for attackers. Basically, social engineering is more of reverse engineering an individual into stealing their passwords or their credentials for malicious activities online. So basically, I try as much as possible to steal someone's credentials, maybe for impersonation or credit cards to buy something online, or password to violate the person's privacy, PII. And in the case of data privacy, release someone's document online, right? Phishing is trying to get someone to fall for a prey that you set for the person, and then also get the person's credentials or private identifiable information from that person. Now, phishing comes in different categories, but my point of focus will be on emails and links, basically, right? So a bit of statistics. Now, because this is the topmost of the attack, it will interest you to note that, 1 second, 37% of these phishing attacks come from download of malicious document. Mr. Olumuyiwa mentioned that if attackers write malwares and download it to be able to exploit your system. Now, these malwares comes in different forms. Of recent, I just got an information now that the owner of podcast just lost a bit of money due to a download of a file that was infected. So 37% make up these, and the another statistics is that 19.5% download executables. Now, people are already wary of executable files, right? So you can naturally not see them download executable files, but people still download documents. COVID-19 relief material, yeah, you want to download the communique that the president has signed from Uganda, which you do not know, right? So these are the things that are attached to malwares that have been downloaded and then that have been downloaded by compromised users through phishing and social engineering. So in this presentation, I'll be talking about phishing attack vectors. Now, what am I talking about? Attacks, emails, phishing in terms of email phishing come in different ways. Now, phishing is a form of attack, but they come with different attack vectors. Now, attack vectors are the modes of attack. So, for example, if you want to attack someone or kill someone, you can kill by spear or by gun or by whatever. But attack can come in different formats. So, one is an embedded PDF of documents, which I just mentioned that it had about 35% of most of the attacks. Another kind of phishing is that fake websites. Right? You are redirected to fake website, just like Mr. Olumuyiwa said, and also malicious links in email. I will be explaining how all these are done. I won't be giving live demonstration because of time, but I've taken screenshots and I've pasted it on this slide, so we'll go ahead with it. I will tell you, I would also give a link. I would also give measures to identify this kind of attack and then also to combat it. And then we can see how we learn from it together. So I'll start by embedded PDFs and docs. Basically, what does it mean? And I would explain in layman time so that you understand the background, and then we'll go to a bit of the technicalities. I am an attacker. I coin an email of a contract, a bill of landing of $10 million, and I tell you that you should download this PDF, check the invoice, and just respond to it that you can provide this service. That's all. And I send it to you. But while you download this, you're actually downloading a malware. Actually, the PDF is going to show on your system that is legit. But at the back of this PDF, a malware is running. It can be done. You just need to embed or merge an executable file into a PDF and wrap it and then serve it to the client. So that's just how it works. And we'll go right away into like a screenshot demo that I myself did in my lab. Basically, this is how it works. Now, on the left-hand side here, you will see something called MSF Venom. Now, this is what I created a script that gives you an executable file that listens to a system on a port called 1234. So what am I trying to say? I said that anybody that runs this executable file will allow me into their system on a particular IP and a particular port. Now, I already have this as an executable file, which is called a Trojan that Mr. Olumuyiwa was talking about. And that's how to just create a Trojan, basically. You create a Trojan. A Trojan is just trying to, it's like a backdoor for you to be able to get a lot of information out. Now, what I have now done is I have a legit PDF. Basically, I have a legit PDF that you would read. And this is the PDF in, I'm seeing if I can do some annotations. Okay, annotations. Okay, so I have a PDF on this side of my on one of my screens here, and what I did, what will be done is that when you merge two files with different properties together, say an exe and a PDF, there's a conflict of icon in any operating system. Which icon will you choose? So what I did is, normally you can just get a JPEG and go to an iconconvert.com and then get an icon, put a JPEG in and you get an icon. What I've done, most people use WinRAR for unarchiving, right? You get an archive file and then use WinRAR. However, WinRAR can also be used to pack malwares or Trojan or PDFs. They pack it and you change the extension. And anytime you download this file, it actually runs the exe that I had already packed with it, just using WinRAR. And this is just not really very sophisticated form of attack, but it suffices, right? On this right-hand screen, you will see a lot of scripts that I've run. And there is a part that I highlighted here down below my far left. And it shows an active session that a Metapreter shell is activated, and this is the connection that has been done on this particular system. Now, what does that mean? If I gain a shell into a system, it means that I have an active connection to that system. So it means that from the command line, I can be able to exfiltrate a lot of data. I was having a conversation with Dr. Onashoga some few days ago. That is exactly how about how someone's information was taken exactly away from the person's system. Using any form of transfer protocol here, FTP, basically, you can copy out all the data of that person from this kind of attack. Now, this is an example of an attack that a PDF, a malicious PDF, can bring into your system. Normally, you're supposed to have an antivirus and a lot of things to be able to prevent it. And this is what we are going to be discussing. Now, attacks will come in this format. So, for example, this attack is someone sending an email and is telling you to download another PDF or another docs to be able to read and respond to this person. Now, how do you identify this kind of email and how do you respond to it? This is why we are here. Now, first of all, when you get this email like this, you do not know where this email is coming from. Basically, you do not even know who sent you this email, but you are suspicious of it. The first thing, and which is the next thing we'll go on this slide, how to combat and how to identify and protect yourself. The first thing is to, to go online. So first of all, you download the PDF. In any case, you want to download the PDF. And once you download the PDF, if the malware is so bogus, so malware comes in sophistication and it comes with the knowledge of attack that the attacker knows. There's some malware that will evade your antivirus system if the signature doesn't match the antivirus system. In terms of signature, it just means that if the antivirus cannot detect it. Now, basically, there are some malware that will naturally just make a noise, right? And the antivirus will detect it. Immediately you download the PDF. But if you're not sure of the PDF, there are two sites you can go, virustotal.com and hybrid analysis. Basically, these two works the same. You can actually upload this file online and get it the hash. So what did I do? I went here, I downloaded this order.pdf, and I came here and I uploaded it online just to check. I'm not sure, I just need to be sure. Now, your first step is to check the file. Some people will check using file hash and different things, but I mean, there are different kinds, there are different people from different walks of life, and sophistication in tech varies, right? So I go to VirusTotal and I upload it. Now, this is what I get, pronto. You can see that it tells you other PDF is very malicious, right? It means that there's something wrong with this file. If it is not malicious, you will get a green flag and tells you that this file is safe, right? So it means that this file is malicious. And there's something about my my slides and my presentation. You cannot, all the steps I've put, all of them need to check out. So you cannot say because step 1 checks out, oh, then it's fine. No, you need to check if this is clean. If it is clean, and you can use different site online. It comes from the least sophisticated that is easy to interact with VirusTotal to the high sophisticated one like any.run, Yara rules, and all stuff. Now, but this just gives anybody at home, you just upload it and you have it basically. Now, first of all, when you've been able to do this, you know rather to discard it or not, basically. Once you have this, you then tell them that, okay, you then cancel it, right? Or you delete the email. But subsequently, you cannot be downloading sites downloading files every time. I mean, it's cumbersome, right? So one of the things you need to do is to subscribe to security protection services, email security protection services. Now, we all know like it works just like an antivirus. However, these people do not subscribe to this because they do not know much about it. What happens? These protection services work like antivirus, works like ad blockers. They scan your emails every time to check if there is a malicious file or a fraudulent email. Now, I'm vendor agnostic. I'm not trying to sell any vendor online yet, but from my company and CyberSecurity Africa, we have a good service from Siren, which is one of the best, and it's easy to just plug it into any of your systems, Outlook, Gmail, and all, right? So it helps you check if a file is malicious or not. Now that's for malware. Step 3, you need issues or that people have is legitimacy. So a software you want to install requires you to turn off your firewall. That's a lie. Turn on your firewall, basically. Do not turn off your firewall. It's very important. And make sure your antivirus is on. Now, another thing that you need to always be sure of is to make sure that you subscribe to pop-up blocker now or hard blocker. Like Mr. Olumuyiwa mentioned, pop-up blocker would help you to not just click any virus online. So it's easy, just go to your browser extension and get ad blocker. Now, I just saw ad blocker and I'm like, okay, this is legit. Why? It has 10 million users and then it has 9 ratings. Basically, you just go and verify all of them and make sure that they work. Now, this is just for malware, downloading of malware systems, malware into your system by phishing through downloading of executables or PDFs. Now, I'm trying to rush it a bit because I have a limited time and it is practical, so I have to talk fast and move fast. So there's another phishing attack, which through email, and the attack vector is fake sites and malicious link. I mentioned 3 earlier, so I'm putting fake sites and malicious link together. Now, basically, it just means that an attacker is trying to fool the person to either visit a link or visit a site. Now, we are going to also be identifying these fake sites together and also be identifying malicious link and how we can mitigate it. But first of all, anytime you visit a site, be sure of this thing. Does it require me to send, for example, my international passport number, my BVN, or upload my date of birth, or upload my card PAN? No, it is very rare that these things are being requested over an email or over a link that's over a Google link and all. I'll be showing you various examples of things based on COVID-19 and all the issues that we've dealt with at CyberSecurity Africa that have defrauded people of their favorite PI, identifiable data, or even assets. Now, you need to check the entities that have the domain email. You check for proper language. They should not force you to a website. And also unsolicited attachments that I do not send unsolicited attachments, and also the links. Now, basically, here is an example. Throughout the period of COVID-19, there were a lot of attacks going on in the globe, right? And it was big, right? This is one, and people actually fell for this. and a lot of things were a lot of people were defrauded of their account here. Basically, this collects their bank name and their account numbers. There are a lot of APIs online that ensures that makes use of your account number and your bank name and a lot of things to be able to defraud you. Now, this just collects all your data, and what this does is that this form takes someone's credential and it can be used for fraud, right? So it is very important to know that your information is critical and you cannot just divulge it to any site that has not been verified. How to identify and protect yourself, basically. First of all, you need to check the URL. Check the URLs. It is very important. Do not rush. So what I've done on this slide, I've put how to check, and I've put a very tricky site here, which is a PayPal site. So I am here. I said you need to check the fav icon on this number 1 here on the left-hand side, and then check the syntax. Every website has this syntax. Every website has this syntax, and it goes like this. You have the protocol, the subdomain, the top-level domain, and the file path. Now, on this left-hand side, if you can see my slide, you will see a paypal.com.securityalert.informationsecuritymanager.com and all. These just look cumbersome, right? But it has HTTPS, which I will mention in this next slide, but it looks a bit cumbersome. Why would I go into a site like this? I will rather just go to www.paypal.com and start afresh. So you need to know, you need to be sure, you need to understand that the site you are visiting, the link is properly done. If you are not sure of step 1, please, it's enough. It is a case of A and B and C. It is not A or B or C, because once you are compromised, it is very difficult to recover. Secondly, HTTP plus TLS gives you HTTPS, which makes it secure. Now, on my left-hand side here, you will see a list of secure websites. You will notice the difference between a secure website and a non-secure website. But remember, on slide 1, there is a secure padlock here, right? So you should not be fooled. That was why I said it is A and B and C. Now, on this side, even though we know ESPN is a worldwide recognized website, we still find out that how would ESPN have a non-secure site, right? So these are the things you need to check. Step 2. Step 3 is you need to check if the site is legitimate, verify the legitimacy. Now, the reason why everybody has a certificate is to verify the legitimacy of everybody's qualification, and it's the same in the sites, right? Every website has an SSL, and for you to be issued an SSL certificate, you need to be verified. So, and it's so easy. The Dr. Mrs. Onashoga mentioned about how to claim passwords and all that, and I came late into the presentation, but it's easy. On the padlock, you click on it. Once you click on the padlock, you click on more information. And once you click on more information, it tells you view certificate, basically. And you can see the owner of the SSL store is rapidwebsites.com. And then it is verified by Digital Ink. And then it has the expiry date. You obviously know that this is something that you can trust. And if not, you can Google digiset.inc and then see. So you understand that if I do A, B, C, step 1, step 2, step 3, and everything matches out, then I'm safe. And there are other certificate issuers or SSL issuers online, which are put on my right-hand side. So you need to check the legitimacy. Now, I would also go into fake emails, right? I've mentioned
Victor?
My time is my time up?
Yeah, can you quickly round up so we can... Somebody's asking for you for more time, but can you please try and...
Okay, so I'm almost done. In less than 3 minutes, I should be done. So, and this is fake email. A fake email is basically COVID-19 emails that tell you, click here, update password. As you can see, these are another kind of emails that you can get. This is phishing. This is WhatsApp. Basically, you get this link in your WhatsApp and it says, click this link, click this link. Be wary of short links, right? Be wary of short links. Now, combat measures, malicious links in emails, how to identify and protect yourself. First of all, you check the source. It's so easy. Right click and inspect, or Ctrl+Shift+I gives you the source. Now, once it gives you the source, right, you can, this is a bit technical, not too technical, but you can check the domain name here and verify it. Now, it's so easy. Copy the domain name that you see on the link, and you are able to go and get an information about the domain name. Step 2 is easy. Mouse over on that link. You do not need to click it. You need to mouse over. Every feature has it. Why? Because at the base of your page, you will see the URL you are going to. So for example, a Visa card wants to be accepted by a merchant, but this link looks bizarre. And this is you trying to pay for Netflix, and this link also looks bizarre, right? So you need to mouse over the link. Do not click it. Just put your mouse on the link. Now, another thing is you can check the domain. Like I said in step 1, you get the domain. Now, this is just a website. This is one of the websites we use online that helps you check for a domain. And once you put the URL here, you scan the website for legitimacy. You have stuff like this. If the website is not legitimate, you get a report like this. You get where it is from, what happened to it, and the blacklist status. So this is how it works. In a nutshell, right? An attacker goes in through spear phishing. There are 2 forms of defense you can give yourself, and you need to know your firewall, your antivirus, and an email filtering mechanism. But if these 2 are not in place, the user is compromised. And then if it's compromised, sensitive data are taken through proxy, through different softwares, and the attacker has it basically. There are different kinds of attack. There are emails and spam, spear phishing. It can be keyloggers, it can be phone phishing, which is phishing, and it can be Trojan horse. One of the things I would say is that for you to know the indicators of possible phishing campaign, it will be suspicious. This link will be suspicious. It will be from an unfamiliar or malicious domain, which you can check using your domain, the domain checker that I've just mentioned. An email from an unfamiliar address with link disguised as an attachment, right? This is very important for you to know. Also, it has been mentioned before on this session. Adopt multi-factor authentication. Do not put credentials on suspicious websites, mostly on your mobile phones, right? It's very important. Mobile phones do not have features for mouse over, or it can be very cumbersome, and you must have tapped it before. I would always say desist from using your payment information or your card information on mobile site. Try and take the pain to sit on your laptop to get it done. And even on your laptop, be sure to have the various mechanisms turned on. Verify every message before interacting with them, and do not interact with unfamiliar emails or link. I would say that there are a lot of these outsides now, and that as cybersecurity specialists, that's what we combat on a day-to-day. People defrauded or hacked, and I would say do not fall for the hook, and please keep calm and report any form of phishing. Thank you. I forgot to put my link, but my name is Victor and I work for CyberSecurity. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Victor. We really appreciate the technical answer that you've given. I understand that it will be very, very difficult for us to match up with you get the recording afterwards. Okay, appreciate everyone too that have been on board, and we'll quickly move on to the questions and answer time now. I know our time is fast spent. Okay, there's a question here. All right. Hello, everyone. There's a question here I would like to pick for our presenter, Mr. Olumuyiwa. There's a question here. Should malware be really listed as a type? Okay, should scareware really be listed as a type of malware? My thought is that this comes under ransomware. Mr. Olumuyiwa, please.
Yeah, I actually tried answering the person privately. So ransomware, we always lead to you paying some money. Scareware will not always lead you to paying money. Scareware is to scare you. It might lead you to paying some money or not. Most times it will lead you to going to a fake place, fake website, or right. So that is the difference, and so that's why it was given a separate name. Ransomware it's especially dedicated for those sites. I mean, which has happened several times, where they will encrypt your file and they will tell you you have to pay before they can unlock your files. Scareware is just to scare you. It's different from ransomware.
All right. I hope that person is satisfied. Thank you, Mr. Olumuyiwa. I want to ask Professor Karen. Karen, please, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. A lock on children's phone and computers, and how long should they be allowed to stay on system and on phone at a time? Thank you.
I think it's really important for there to be a balance. I'm not a parent of young children anymore, but parents have a good sense of what is appropriate. Children need to spend time playing with other children. They need to be moving around so they can develop their social skills. So some parents feel an hour a day is enough. Other parents want their children to do more exercise or whatever. And these days with the COVID virus and lots of people being at home, trying to educate their children at home, obviously they're going to spend more time online, and that is perfectly fine. But it's really about balance. If the child is awake 16 hours a day, they don't want to be spending 10 of those hours online. I think it's really, we have to trust parents because they really know the best.
Thank you, Prof. We really appreciate.
Thank you.
The next question goes to Dr. Onashoga. Okay, somebody wrote that cybersecurity needs to be integrated into the curriculum. As the Southwest coordinator of this August body that organized these events, what would be your input or your comment on that, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator.
Dr. Onashoga, please.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're here with you.
Yeah, that's very apt. That's is very important. But thanks to NUC, NUC has already floated and approved some universities, okay, having cybersecurity even as a course, not even as a course, yeah, not even as a subject in the curriculum. But I think now what we are driving at is how to ensure that information security, cybersecurity is part of the courses that will be taken by everyone, okay, in higher institutions.
That's right. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. Are you done, ma'am?
Okay. So that's been part of our recommendation.
Okay.
And I believe one day. Okay.
Are you still on, please?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Mr. Victor, thank you for that presentation once again, and everyone. I couldn't get in on time. My slide that is supposed to talk about our profile. I don't know if I'll still have opportunity to display it. It's been a very wonderful time here, and people have been contacting me. Even I was behind the scene as well, trying to send link to people. We have a lot of turnout for this event. We appreciate all the speakers. Thank you so much. Mr. Victor, please, will you take this question quickly? Somebody asks here, will my system not be compromised if I have to download the wrapped PDF file first before taking it to the virus total or hybrid analysis site? Mr. Victor, please.
Okay.
Hello, Victor.
Yes, sorry. I'd say that there is a very low percentage that your system will be hacked. Why? Because for every malware to work, it needs to run, and it needs an action to run. So first of all, even while you download the PDF, your antivirus should pick it. Now, it should pick that this looks malicious because it would have quarantined it, or if you would have run it in a sandbox. But in any case, if you download it, there's a very low probability that you will be hacked or you will be attacked. It is only in the, let's say, 5% sector will a malware be so sophisticated that immediately it gets on your system, it runs. But in a PDF, in the one embedded in a file like PDF and all, you will not be compromised. Just trust me. Download it, put it from your download box, just drag it back to VirusTotal and let VirusTotal do the magic for you, and then you will see.
Okay, thank you. Akure, please, do we still have time to take more questions? Okay, all right, please, Dr. Ikono, can you briefly bring up the vote of thanks? Dr. Ikono, please. You have the floor now.
Okay, while we're waiting for Dr. Ikono, hello everyone.
Hi, we're here, Doc.
I would like to recognize the co-hosts for this program. I would like to say a big thank you to Ekiti State, led by Mr. Ogunlola, Mrs. O. Adekunte for Ogun State, NCS chapter, Mr. O. Oladipupo for Ondo State, for Lagos State, Dr. Ikono is the chairman for Osun, State of Osun, Dr. Olaju Igbe for Ondo State, and Dr. Oshunade for Oyo State. Please, in the right top, you will see a link to ncs.org.ng for all those who want to join NCS. That's a link, ncs.org.ng. That's the Nigerian Computer Society. We are all invited to join, and you can contact any of those people listed on the flyers for you to join. Our zonal coordinator, like I said earlier on, is Dr. Onashoga, who was a keynote speaker. You are all invited to join the NCS. Is Dr. Okono, are you ready? Dr. Okono. All right, Dr. Aderonke, please.
Okay, please unmute yourself, Dr. Ikono. Could you please help to unmute her so that she can come on?
Okay, let me see if I can locate her.
Thank you, everyone, while we're waiting, hopefully, for that. It's been a really nice time. I wish to appreciate Professor Karen Reynolds, Mr. Olumuyiwa, Mr. Victor Olofilade. At the shortest time that we contacted you, you were able to respond and prepare wonderfully for the presentation and everything. And to the Southwest coordinator of the NCS, Dr. Bukola Onashoga, we really appreciate you. We saw the fire, the energy, and everything at which you took this one, and we're glad that it's a success. I wish to thank all the participants too. If you're not here, we won't really be here till now. We appreciate you coming on board. We thank you, and we hope that when as we call on you, you'll be able to come hub and attend this. We should know that security issues is becoming an utility issue that everybody has to really be conversant with, be aware. And I usually tell people the fact that it's not happening to you does not mean it's not happening. So don't wait until it happens to you, please. Let's take precautions. Dr. Ikono, are you there, please?
Okay, thank you so very much. I'm on now. I want to say thank you. Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, we are. Go on, please.
Okay, I'm trying to bring up my video. I don't know what went wrong somewhere. Okay, I want to say on behalf of the Southwest Consortium and the entire Southwest Executives of Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Ekiti, and Lagos state chapters, and the umbrella body of our society, Nigerian Computer Society, we want to say a big thank you to every one of our participants. You are well appreciated, because without you, this seminar wouldn't have been able to hold. So we say a big thank you to all our participants and our able presenters, Dr. Onashoga, our keynote speaker, and our able coordinator of the Southwest. We say thank you, ma'am. Dr. Karen, Dr. Olumuyiwa, Dr. Olofinlade, and Dr. Thompson. Thank you so very much for gracing this occasion, and every one of us that have been able to log on, we say a big thank you. And we want to appreciate all those that were on board to be able to see to the fact that this seminar has been a success. We say thank you to each and every one of you. And for those of us that are computer scientists in Nigeria, please endeavor to hello, okay. Please endeavor to register as computer scientists with the national body, that's the Nigerian Computer Society. God bless you all. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. Dr. Shuade, our coordinator, please. Dr. Bukola Onashoga. Can we have you on board, ma'am?
Yes,
the
please.
Southwest coordinator, please.
Do you want us to sing the national anthem?
Okay.
To close.
Okay. Thank you. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate everyone that has been part of this program. I recognize the speakers, Professor Karen from UK, Mr. Olumuyiwa, that's our doctor-to-be from United States of America, Mr. Victor, and every other persons that have taken their time to participate, okay, in this virtual seminar. I want to appreciate you. A special applause to the all the chairmen and the executive members of Southwest State chapters of Nigerian Computer Society. You've all done very well. We've not been sleeping. We've been on this for the past 2 weeks, and it's a success. So I want to congratulate you all for your cooperation, okay, and that spirit to be able to impact the society. One thing I want us to realize is it's good to be part of this of the fight against cyber crimes in the society. So anytime we put up this type of program, we want you to tell everyone, inform everyone around you, okay? So we can put a stop and reduce this cyber crime. So I appreciate you all. Thanks to my president of Nigerian Computer Society, that's the chief host. Thanks to the deputy president, Dr. Sirajo, that's the host, and every other person. Thanks to the past presidents, all the presidents of CPN, the past president of CPN, and every other person that I cannot even mention names. We appreciate you all, and we appreciate God Almighty too for the success. So thanks and God bless you.
Yeah, we appreciate. So on this note, we thank everyone, and we hope you've taken points and lessons from today's event. That's the most important thing, that you'll be able to take care and use immediately. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
It should not go out. Remove the book. Okay. Dr. Thompson?
Yes, Mom.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm not.
Hello?
Dr. Onashoga, you want to talk?
I'm not too sure if the other chairmen are still on board. Okay.
I think the best is to go out and bring up a new meeting, please. I still have 109 people watching.
Oh.
Okay. Log them out. Can you do it?
You can't log them out. They're on YouTube. They're on YouTube. They're connected to the Zoom.
Okay, because it's a double stuff. All right, Mom. So we're waiting for you.
Log out and send it through our WhatsApp so we can meet.
Okay.
Ogun, Ekiti, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, and powerful Lagos State.
Ìdárúkọ
From UK,
engineer behind the scene.
So our technical director behind the scene. Not doing for you alone. You was going to be the one behind the fact.
Engineer.
I thought I saw you taking one. Okay, because they are not used to it, we don't take it to them. I didn't want to do it. You are enjoying our shit. About the idea of the Abi. Ó ṣe tóbi gan-an, ó ṣe o. Báwo ṣe mọ̀ nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún ẹ? The only thing I can say is God will continue to bless you. Amen. And grant you the wisdom that surpasses every other thing, to be able to be the best in all that you do. He said you appreciate the moment he said this moment we take about the person. Come back here, come back call. I'm telling you. No.
Hello. certificate ni ẹni tí ó bá ti fill the certificate ní dánrin kìíní. End the meeting. Meeting will end.
Meeting koko end.
Meeting refused to end.
Ẹ sọ fún woman yẹn kó end ẹ lọ.
Okay, myself.
No, mo ti gbé host lé lọ́wọ́.
Ṣé mi àbí?
Ṣé Miss Thompson?
Bẹ́ẹ̀.
Okay o.